So Dune Awakening just had a new update with a bunch of improvements to the deep desert, particularly for PvE players, but also making the PvP zone a little more threatening, as it will take a whopping 30 seconds before you actually can leave a PvP zone. This is patch 1.1.15. Getting your hands on tier 6 endgame resources in the PvE zone, Stravidium and Titanium, should now be quite a bit easier, as they've made the area which you can spawn much wider. That should help a little bit with people just camping node points and literally building a base right on top of those, resource nodes. They've also added an element of randomization to the respawn timer of unique loot containers. I assume this is going to have something to do with these deep desert labs and also the PvP shipwrecks, so you can't just go and camp the rewards. In a PvP zone, yes, those chests are limited and whoever gets it first gets it. So this randomization would help it so you can't just grab the chest, log out, set a timer, and then log back in when the chest resets. They've also made it so Plastanium tier items are now split to drop based on the content location. So you'll find certain ones from Imperial testing stations, certain ones from caves, and others from shipwrecks. Each of them will drop their own selection of components. However, you can still grab shipwrecks and buried treasure to get pretty much all of those components. That is one of the huge benefits of these fallen shipwrecks. It's just, yes, they're very limited, a rare occurrence, and it can be very likely somebody's already grabbed them. Unless you're in the PvE zone, but then they do not drop everything, and they will only drop you one schematic. There is now also a chance for a different selection of unique drops in the PvE loot of the deep desert, splitting up those weekly rewards. So you won't necessarily get the exact same schematics as you will in a PvE zone versus the PvP area. They've also made it a bit easier to get spice, as there's more medium fields now, 5 to 8, and there's more small fields from 22 to 30. But then this big one, if you leave a PvP zone, it will now take 30 seconds for you to actually unflag from PvP. This is definitely one of the big warnings that you must know about with this update. If you're getting chased, they'll still be able to chase you for 30 seconds into the PvE zone. So be sure to have your base nearby and expect that. And finally, Landsrad, a massive change here. So normally when the Landsrad gets completed, you can no longer partake in these tasks to get these rewards. Some of them get completed super quick when reset happens, which gave you pretty much no opportunity to get that personal contribution to get those rewards. Now you'll be able to get them regardless if they've been completed, just getting the personal points and getting those personal rewards. This is such a good change, and yes, will allow a lot more people to actually engage in this content. This is something I've totally just skipped over, just mainly due to the fact these were already completed before you could realistically get many points on them, unless you had already hoarded all the materials and you were super quick depositing them. Other than that, there's some general fixes like improving game stability, reducing the causes where sandworms can push vehicles under the ground, and new audio alert for the PvP zone. They fixed it where contract rewards would drop on the ground if your inventory was full. They fixed an issue with pentashields so they can no longer overlap with existing pentashields, and fixed an exploit where you could allow building a vehicle with items from another player's inventory. So yes, some pretty significant improvements, particularly for PvE in the deep desert. More spice and more Stravidium and Titanium nodes spread across a wider area. My only issue is they haven't really addressed, at least what it appears, some of the really negative griefing issues. Like this, for example, you're out in a PvE zone and a bunch of players ambush you while you're in your carrier, because you're so much slower, and simply try to push you down into the sands and get you eaten by the worm. They will place a thumper in front of you, push you down, and the worm will come up and just gobble you up. And it's honestly horrendous behavior. It's not like you gain anything from this. You're literally trying to just set back other players by destroying what they've earned. And again, not in a PvP zone. It shouldn't be expected to happen here. I was hoping they would remove collision, at least in PvE zones, of ornithopters, or at least have it in a way that a bigger ornithopter cannot be obstructed by a smaller one. Now, I actually lost my very first ornithopter just yesterday. Not happy about it, but it was exactly due to this bug. You would exit the ornithopter and then your character would end up spamming himself all over the ornithopter. You'd be completely bugged out. This happened here outside my base. I literally set down my ornithopter right here, and when I went to jump out of it, it bugged out on me. And I was just in this spot, which is in the area where the worm can come and get you. And well, it did. It got me because I was completely stuck on it. It didn't kill me though. I managed to jump out in time, but I didn't manage to capture my ornithopter in time before the worm ate it. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording to be able to clip it, but I seriously hope that bug gets addressed ASAP. I saw a clip of it on Reddit, but I can't seem to find it. But that's it for this update. At least they are making some improvements to the endgame loop of Dune Awakening. Once again, a very special thank you to all my channel members for your added support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around.